Don Diego Vega, resplendent in a floundered dressing gown and with embroidered sandals upon his feet, sat at breakfast in the patio of his townhouse a short distance from the plaza of Reina de Los Angeles. Before him was a melon and a dish of eggs and fish fresh caught in the distant sea. At his elbow was a glass of thick wine which had come from Spain, and of which Don Diego Vega enjoyed the bouquet as much as the taste. He was attended by Bernardo, his deaf and dumb servant, and he breakfasted alone, for Don Alejandro, his father, was out at the family's ranch, attending to the putting in of certain crops. There came a summons at the front door, and Bernardo inclined his head in courtesy and left Don Diego to answer the summons. When he returned a moment later, there was a peculiar expression in Bernardo's face. He indicated by motions that Don Diego had early morning guests, and his face expressed the fact that Bernardo did not think much of them. Don Diego stifled a yawn and got out of his chair. He gathered the dressing gown around him and strode out of the patio and into the house, and so on into the great living room with its high ceiling and great fireplace, its grills of metalwork, and its colour-splotched beams. Back and forth across the room strode a man in uniform, and Don Diego repressed a grimace at sight of him. He was Capitan Valentino Rocha, Comandante of the Presidio, an officer who had been stationed there for less than half a year. Don Diego Vega did not like him and cared not that Capitan Rocha returned his dislike. There was a second visitor also, a common-appearing fellow who seemed to be feeling out of place. Don Diego elevated his eyebrows at sight of him, and perhaps it was but a gesture that he brushed a perfumed handkerchief, edged with fine lace, across his nostrils. Capitan Rocha bowed from the waist in what he fondly believed was the most approved manner, but which almost caused Don Diego to smile, though his inborn courtesy kept him from doing so. "It is early for a call?" Don Diego hinted. "Don Diego, this is not a social visit," Capitan Rocha said. "I presumed not, having issued no invitation." Rocha's face purpled. "It is a visit of business, senor," he continued, "but I have nothing to do with business. There is a manager of the estate, a superintendent in whom I put much trust. My business is with you alone, Don Diego, and I should be pleased to expedite it." "In such case," said Don Diego, "the pleasure shall be mine also. May I ask the name and station of this, person who seems to be in your company?" The person lurched forward and announced himself. "I am Juan Sanchez," he said. "I trade in tallow and hides." "My nose should have informed me," Don Diego replied. "I am an honest man. I work hard and I take my fun. And look! Sanchez pointed to his cheek. It was purple, swollen, badly marred, but it was no great task to make out the jagged Z thereon. His face immediately inscrutable, Don Diego bent forward slightly to look, and again he brushed the perfumed handkerchief across his nostrils. "It evidently is a wound," he said, "but why come to me with it? The good Fray Felipe is a wonder with wounds, and he may be found at the chapel." Capitan Valentino Rocha took another step forward, and his eyes flashed a bit as he confronted Don Diego. "It is a letter Z," he announced. "Last night this merchant was set upon in the plaza by a man who carried a naked blade. That letter was carved in his cheek in 3 strokes. He is marked for life." "It appears so," Don Diego said. He should be glad that his assailant did not start with an A and work through the entire alphabet, instead of using only the last letter.